The dim glow of Paris above ground contrasted starkly with the oppressive darkness that awaited us below. I stared down into the gaping maw of the catacombs of Paris, my heart racing as I contemplated the journey my friends and I were about to embark on. We had always heard whispers about the catacombs, how they were the final resting place for millions of souls, their bones piled high, but curiosity had finally gotten the better of us. My name is Lucy, and my friends were Sarah, Mike, and Alex. We were your typical group of thrill seekers, always searching for that next adrenaline rush. For us, the catacombs represented the ultimate adventure, a chance to explore the underbelly of the City of Light and maybe uncover a secret or two. The descent into the catacombs was not for the faint of heart. A spiral staircase made slick by centuries of moisture led us down into the subterranean labyrinth. The air grew colder with each step, and the walls seemed to close in around us. The only sounds were the echo of our own footsteps and the distant drip of water. As we descended further, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. It wasn't the darkness that frightened me. It was the knowledge that we were surrounded by the remains of those who had come before us. The bones of the dead lay silent, but their presence was palpable.
Are you sure about this, Lucy?
Mike's voice trembled, breaking the silence that had settled over us like a shroud. I gave him a reassuring nod, though my own courage wavered. We're in this together, Mike. We've come this far. We might as well see it through. With renewed determination, we pressed on. The catacombs seemed to stretch on forever, a never-ending maze of tunnels and chambers. We passed alcoves filled with neatly stacked skulls and femurs, each pile a testament to the countless lives that had once walked the streets of Paris. It was Sarah who first noticed something amiss. A faint whisper, a chilling breeze that carried with it the scent of decay. We halted in our tracks, straining to hear.
"Did you guys hear that?"
she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex, always the skeptic, rolled his eyes.
"It's just the wind, Sarah. You're letting this place get to you."
But the wind in the catacombs doesn't whisper like that. It doesn't echo with the sorrow of lost souls. I had read about the legends of the catacombs, tales of ghostly apparitions and restless spirits. I couldn't help but wonder if we were beginning to experience the same. We pressed on, determined to put Sarah's unease behind us. We explored chamber after chamber after chamber, each filled with more bones than the last. As we moved deeper into the catacombs, I began to notice something odd. The walls seemed to shift, as if the tunnels themselves were rearranging. It was subtle, barely perceptible, but it sent a shiver down my spine.
Okay, now that's strange,
Mike said, his voice filled with a nervous laughter.
I could have sworn we've passed this same spot before.
Alex checked his compass, his brow furrowed.
According to this, we should be going deeper into the catacombs, not in circles.
A sense of dread washed over us. We were lost, disoriented in a subterranean world that seemed to defy logic. Panic threatened to take hold, but we couldn't allow it. We had to find a way out. As we continued, the passages grew narrower and the bones more densely packed. The walls, slick with moisture, seemed to pulsate as if they were alive. The catacombs, it appeared, were alive with a sinister, breathing presence. Sarah's fear was contagious, and it infected all of us. Every whisper of the wind became a sinister murmur, every distant sound an ominous threat. And then we heard it, the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the tunnels, coming from behind us. We spun around, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. There, in the dim glow of our lights, we saw them, figures, shadowy and indistinct, their features obscured by the flickering beams of our flashlights.
Who's there?
Alex shouted, his voice wavering. The figures didn't respond. They just stood there, in the inky blackness, their presence sending a bone-deep chill through us. My heart raced, and I could feel the adrenaline surging through my veins. These were not normal figures. They were otherworldly. Without another word, we turned and ran. Our footsteps echoed through the catacombs, mingling with the haunting whispers that filled the air. We had no idea where we were going. All we wanted was to escape that malevolent presence that seemed to be closing in on us. We sprinted through the labyrinth of bones, retracing our steps, but the catacombs had changed. Passageways that had been open were now sealed with a wall of bones, as if the very earth itself conspired to keep us trapped. Panic set in as we realized we were truly lost. The figures pursued us, their steps never faltering. They moved with an unearthly grace, gliding through the darkness like wraiths. I could hear their soft laughter, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. It was the laughter of the damned, and it echoed through the catacombs like a sinister lullaby. We stumbled into a chamber, its walls lined with bones from floor to ceiling. There was no way out, and the figures were closing in on us. We huddled together, our flashlights flickering in the oppressive darkness. In that moment, I knew we were not alone in the catacombs. We were intruders in a realm where the dead still held sway. The figures surrounded us, their presence suffocating. I could see their hollow eyes, black and bottomless, and I knew we were facing something ancient, something that had no place in the world of the living. One of them reached out a bony hand, its fingers brushing against my cheek, and I felt a coldness like death itself seep into my skin. I tried to scream, but the sound caught in my throat. It was as if the catacombs were claiming us, pulling us into their depths. And then, with a sudden, bone-chilling gust of wind, the figures were gone. We were left alone in the chamber, our breaths heavy, our hearts pounding. The catacombs had released their grip on us. We stumbled back the way we had come, retracing our steps in a daze. It felt like a lifetime before we saw the faint glow of the exit, and when we finally emerged into the Parisian night, we gasped for breath as if we had been underwater. The sun had risen, and the city seemed to come alive with the sounds of the living. We had survived the catacombs, but the horror of that subterranean world would haunt us forever. We had ventured into a realm where the line between the living and the dead was blurred, where the past and the present converged in a macabre dance. As we made our way back to the surface, I couldn't help but wonder what secrets the catacombs held. What had we encountered in the darkness, and what did those figures want? I knew one thing for certain. We had glimpsed a world that should have remained hidden, a world that belonged to the dead. and I prayed that we would never have to return to the catacombs of Paris for fear of what might await us in the depths below. The memory of that night still haunts my dreams, and I can't help but wonder if the catacombs are not just a final resting place for the dead, but a portal to a realm where the past and the present are forever entwined, a place where the living are not welcome and dead refuse to rest in peace.